This invasion has begun despite months of warnings by the United States and other allied countries about severe economic consequences for Russia.
We are joined now by Erik Gartzke, professor of political science and director of the Center for Peace and Security Studies at UC San Diego. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I wish it was a better morning in Ukraine. Can we talk about the timing of this? Why now? We saw what happened in Crimea in 2014. What do you think is Putin's overall strategy here?
Well, I think that's a great way to start this discussion because he tried sort of the subtle approach. He tried to use what we call today gray zone tactics, fomenting a separatist movement in the east of the country, and this strategy hasn't worked.
Is there a way to look at this from the Russia point of view? Is there any devil's advocate justification for what they're doing if we put ourselves in their shoes?
I don't like the word justification. This is an act of aggression against a neighboring country. It's illegal under international law. It technically means probably, I'm not a lawyer, but it probably means that Vladimir Putin is guilty of war crimes. But the Russian perspective is that NATO has expanded, doubled in size in the last 20, 30 years. It has moved towards the east. And Russia feels threatened by that expansion. That's very understandable, but the reaction is not.
How do you see this playing out? So what happens here, and should neighboring countries be concerned about the future?
Yes. Putin on several occasions, including in his declaration of war yesterday, our time, made it clear that his aspirations include possible military aggression against other countries, including those in NATO. He hasn't specified specifically which countries he's talking about, but he talks about, in effect, resurrecting the old Soviet empire under a different guise, not under communism, but under certainly autocratic Russian rule, and something that looks increasingly like fascism to outsiders.
What about the world picture here? Do you think China is watching this closely with their own eyes on Taiwan and their own want to expand?
Yes, they're watching, and but they're kind of nervous about the situation. They're quite ambivalent. In their minds, there is a distinction between invading an independent country, as they see Ukraine, and possibly reasserting their control over Taiwan, which they consider part of China.
Professor, so how does the world respond? The U.S. in particular, you talked about President Putin's aspirations. What does the rest of the world do?
That's a terrific question. NATO and in particular the United States has decided that it's not going to defend Ukraine militarily, but it is going to do a variety of other things. And we're going to hear more about that today when the president speaks. We all expect that what he'll do is this sort of mother of all sanctions coming on Russia.
Erik Gartzke is professor of political science and director of the Center for Peace and Security Studies at UC San Diego. Professor, thank you so much for joining us so early this morning.
Thank you.